Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Dagustani Fajary and my friend Muhammad Aldiansyah. In today's presentation session, I want to explain the sociolinguistic journal in sociolinguistic terms. So I've got the journal which titled The Nuruls, a Sociolinguistic Study of Name and Enregisterment in Indonesian Online Discourse. This research is conducted by Rifda Fakhira from Universitas Airlangga and Najla Amali from Win Antasari. So, let's move to the background of this research. So, do you guys ever heard about the term the Nuruls or the American version one, the Karen? People often use name as stereotypes on social media. Specifically in Indonesia, the name Nurul is now used to describe a certain type of Muslim women instead of referring to a real person. This change is called enregisterment, where a name develops a social meaning which stereotyping or labeling some uh, groups or some social groups. Let's move into the research objectives by the researchers. So, the very first thing is to explain how the name Nurul become an online stereotype. Second, to identify the behaviors linked to the name. The third, to examine what these stereotypes reveal about gender, religion, and social class in Indonesia. So, the methodology used by the researchers is uh, one qualitative content analysis. So, they analyzed hundreds posts from X, which previously Twitter, and collected between April 2023 and May 2024 using a critical discourse analysis or shorthandly CDA and feminist critical discourse analysis, shorthandly FCDA. So, the study found that in the finding section, the name Nurul is commonly portrayed as religious but hypocritical. So they are mostly Muslim women, which they have double standards in their religion rules. Like they're Muslim, but they're uh, they're having dates or they're doing what their religion says no. And secondly, and blaming other women. So there are some culture in the internet which women support women when, as we know, the women supports women becomes a trend because the male supremacy is still up there, and the the feminist move is there also to not bypassing but equaling the social structure between men and women. So the third is behaving in ways that are seen as contradictive or contradictory to Islamic values. So this findings is equal as the first one as I mentioned earlier. So this trait is the online stereotyping from other people to the name Nurul. So let's move into the more specific topic, the stereotype of the social class, of a social name. In this case, Nurul. So the women who labeled or stereotyped Nurul have some certain um, criteria or some credentials. Like first of all, the appearance. So they are mostly wear hijabs and modest fashion, like normal or ordinary uh, Muslim woman who wears a hijab to everyday occasion. So the second finding is food preferences like mie gacoan or seblak. I do find this finding in a woman who labeled Nurul is like, do you guys ever uh, see mie gacoan or a seblak stall that filled with women peers my age or seem to be appeared as a high schoolers or a student in university. So let's move into the third findings, which is rural or semi-urban lifestyle. So this is also linked with the fourth findings, which is middle to lower class identity. And the term Nurul is also uh, connected with their preference sections or the regional terms where they came from. Like uh, in the term Nurul, it also came with the kabupaten, the cewek kabupaten. So this is linked with the regional terms with Nurul, and this phenomenon is also showed that uh, the urban specific area like kabupaten compared to the urban like a city or any other modern areas, it's like more marginalized or something like separating us who lives in the city and the people who lives in outside the city. So these findings like reinforce and showing the gender and social class stereotypes or labeling when it comes to enregisterment phenomenon in the word Nurul. Okay, from the discussion session and further, uh, they will be explained by my friend Aldi. Thank you for your attention. That's all from me. I am Muhammad Dagustani. Peace out.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Aldiansyah, and I will continue about my friend presentation about Dagustani Fawwaz Fajary, and I will tell you about the discussion. Let's move to the discussion. The researchers argue that this stereotype has two different effects. On one hand, it is used to criticize racism, hypocrisy, and patriarchal attitudes in society. However, on the other hand, it also creates new stereotypes that can unfairly judge Muslim women and women from lower social class. So, while the stereotype may be intended as a social criticism, it can also spread prejudice against certain groups. Okay, next let's move to the in my opinion. In my opinion, this study is interesting because it discusses a real and popular phenomenon on Indonesian social media. However, I think the study has some limitations and it only analyzes 10 posts from X, which may not fully represent online discussion. And I believe that collecting more data from different platforms and conducting interviews with users will provide a more complete understanding of how this stereotype develops and spreads. The last one is conclusion. To conclude, this study shows that the name Nuruls become more than just a personal name. It has developed into an online stereotype that reflects ideas about gender, religion, and social class. Overall, the research reminds us that language on social media can influence how people see and judge others, and therefore we should be more critical and responsible when using stereotypes online.